Okay, so first off, we've got the ZTNA and Secure Web Gateway. So as we can see, we've got the Secure Access module there. We've got the Zero Trust module for ZTNA and AnyConnect. And AnyConnect isn't connected in this scenario, so we're on premise. First scenario, we're going to just browse to a normal secure HTTPS website. So browsing to the company website here, you can see that when we look at the certificate for this, when we browse to that, we can see that the certificate's issued by Cisco, so it proves we're going via the Secure Web Gateway. Next, we've got the situation where the user may want to access a destination that potentially goes against corporate use policy, but we don't necessarily want to block it. So we're going to warn the user that they're potentially in breach of internal policies. We're not going to block it, but we'll allow them access, but they've been warned. So that will show up in the logging side of things. Next, we have users that are high-risk users or potentially for their role have to access destinations that could contain threats. So we've got OpenFish here. You can see by the little blue icon down there that they're browsing to. This is via a remote browser isolation session. So running that destination in a sandbox environment. And then finally, in this scenario, we've got a gambling website. We want to block users accessing that kind of domain. So we'll block that. Next, we have VPN as a service. So again, as you can see from the modules here, we've got ZTNA enabled so we can do the posture side of things. But at the moment, AnyConnect isn't connected. So we want to go through that connection process. So as with AnyConnect, it has been for years. Hit connect and you'll be prompted for your login details. Now, what I've brought up on the screen there is essentially a list of all the different things we can posture check for. So we've got operating system, firewall, disk encryption, browser check, anti-malware is enabled, do checks for specific files, processing check, certificate check. So if you want to do certificate-based auth, you can do. Another thing that's worth highlighting as well is that yes, we're going through the process of authenticating here. You can have always on VPN with secure access if you want to kind of simplify that user experience. But as before, run through the authentication, and there you go, we can connect to internal domains. Last but not least, we've got clientless ZTNA with posture assessment. So in this situation, we're logging into an internal resource, same kind of process as we saw before, but we're connecting with Chrome here. So with our internal policies, we've said that when you want to access corporate resources, Chrome is an approved browser. So very straightforward process as before. Enter your credentials, we get a push prompt through Duo. So we follow that process. And then once we're authenticated, eventually, you can see that we can access our internal FMC. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that same URL, and instead of using Chrome, we're going to try and use Safari. Now in this situation, we haven't permitted Safari as an approved browser. So when you try and log in, you'll get prompted with a block page.